Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And today we're going to be giving you guys some NFL record predictions, going division by division. So we can go ahead and start off with the NFC East.
Okay. NFC East, okay.
Who do you have winning that division?
Eagles.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty no-brainer in my personal opinion. I'm interested to see what Jaden Daniels does with the Commanders. This is interesting. Giants, neighbors looking pretty good from what I'm hearing.
Yep.
I'm not high on the Cowboys this year. I think they're very thin at receiver.
Yeah, they haven't signed none of their three cornerstones for their franchise. So I have the Eagles as well. I think we had a good offseason. Obviously signing Saquon Barkley. That's one everyone knows about.
I think getting Gardner Johnson back is more important than Saquon.
Absolutely. And we had a 26th ranked defense last year, 31st in pass defense. And we covered that up with, like you said, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We got Quinyon Mitchell in the draft, Cooper DeJean in the draft. So I think we addressed the right things this offseason. And then we also got Devin White at linebacker, who was a great linebacker for the 2021 Buccaneers Super Bowl team.
Champs,
yeah, so I do love the things we did this offseason. And I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, but I do have us coming out the NFC this year. And like you were talking about with these other teams, the Giants, the Commanders, and the Cowboys are all teams I expect to be kind of around, like hovering around 500.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think about the Commanders real quick. Like just.
I mean, I like their squad.
Yeah.
I'm a big Terry McLaurin guy, but this is a quarterback league. It's very offensive based league. It's not 10, 15 years ago where you looked at the Super Bowl and pretty much every year it was a top defense. We've seen Mahomes and teams take teams now recently with above average or average defenses or good defenses, but not the best defense, but just because they're so offensively talented. Like Joe Burrow's team with the Bengals. I mean, because you're so offensively talented that you could take a team to the Super Bowl. So I think the biggest thing is what is Jaden Daniels going to be?
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing for them.
They had the last ranked pass defense in the league last year, and they didn't really address that. Emmanuel Forbes is still going to be their starting guy, and I don't think he's a baller right now. I just don't think so. And like you said, if Jaden Daniels could perform, I really do think the sky's the limit as far as making the playoffs for them because, like you said, they have Terry McLaurin, they have Jahan Dotson, and they always have a pretty good offensive line and good running game. So I just think that and I do expect Jaden Daniels to be a great quarterback first year. I expect him to hop in and be good right away. Yeah. So I think they could be around 9-8, 8-9, but I don't see them as it's definitely not a contender, but I do see them as maybe being a fringe playoff team, but I don't have them quite making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I don't think I don't have them making the playoffs.
And as far as the Giants, like you said,
I don't have them making it.
Yeah, I don't have them making it either. And they're a great defensive team, or they were last year. But haven't seen enough from Daniel Jones. Hopefully this can be a year where he looks good, like about 2 years ago, where Malik Neighbors is, he steps up. Forgot number 80's name. Isaiah Hodgins, I believe. Isaiah Hodgins is a good receiver for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what their running game is going to look like, but I do think Malik Neighbors is going to be explosive in his first year.
Yeah, I think he might be offensive rookie.
Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the best rookies we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But once again, Daniel Jones. So I don't think anything will come out of that. And tell me why you don't like the Cowboys this year.
I think they're very, like I said, thin at receiver, thin at running back. They haven't paid CD. Like, is he gonna? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They haven't. They got to pay Parsons as well. And Dak. They're gonna be very Dak reliant more than ever this year, and I don't think that's a recipe for success.
No.
So yeah, that's really the reasons why, and I think the NFC is not what it was a year or two ago. I think the NFC's gotten better.
Absolutely.
And maybe not necessarily this division, but yeah, I think it's easily the Eagles. So I don't think anyone else disagrees.
All right, I agree. So we go to the NFC North now, and
okay,
who do you have coming out of that division?
So coming out of the division, let's see here. So the Packers, they all have pretty similar schedules.
Yeah.
Each team plays the Texans and the Niners. Packers probably have the toughest schedule. I would say either the Bears or the Lions
coming out.
Okay. And simply because, and I think the Packers might end up being the best team.
Yeah.
And they'll still make the playoffs, but I just think with their schedule.
Yeah.
I would probably say the Lions.
Yeah, I have the Packers coming out.
Yeah, that's not crazy. I just think the Texans, Eagles, Niners are losses, and then maybe the Dolphins, because in the regular season the Dolphins were.
I actually have the Packers being the 1 seed this year. After I reviewed all the schedules and did my research, because Jordan Love ascended in that last half.
No, he's gonna be good. I get Aaron Rodgers flashes.
That receiving core is probably the most slept on receiving core in football.
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs, they have a whole bunch of slept on guys that make plays consistently.
That are good.
Exactly. They picked up Aaron Jones, and they've had a good defensive coach since Matt LaFleur has been there, and he's a great coach. So I do think he'll be able to maximize this talent this year and get them there.
Yeah.
Detroit and Chicago are also teams that I think will make the playoffs. It's crazy to see 3 teams come out of one division, but I do think that'll happen this year.
Yeah.
I just think Detroit is in a bad spot once again because it was a bad loss they suffered last year.
Yeah.
I think it was their year. Even though they might have been ahead of schedule last year, I think it was their year to really capitalize on that opportunity and their year to win.
Yeah.
So they are in a weird spot for me. And Chicago, even if Caleb Williams doesn't perform, that was one of the best defenses in football last year.
And their schedule's not crazy.
It's not a crazy schedule. I don't think any of the teams in this division schedule
not
is
crazy,
that difficult. But I think, this Chicago team has rebuilt. They might have had the best off season in football this past year. Like, they have literally kept everybody on defense and rounded out their entire offense in one off season. Yeah. So I do think there will be.
I mean, you got Swift, and then obviously you got DJ Moore.
Yeah.
You got Keenan Allen. That's
a squad.
Yeah,
for sure. And the Vikings, I have the Vikings very low on. Like, I think the Vikings might win 2 to 4 games this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
You think Justin Jefferson will finish his career there? Like, you think he'll have to?
I don't. I don't know. I think he will stay.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have to pay him consistently, and I think they will because he's that good of a football player. But I don't know, man. A receiver is a dependent position once again, and he can't win them games by himself.
Exactly. I mean, I would love to see, other than that 1 year with Mahomes. I mean, I would love to see Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. What those number 1 receivers leads to playoff wins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think the numbers would be very high recently.
So, not very high on the Vikings, obviously. I don't think now J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings usually do bring in good quarterbacks. They do develop their quarterbacks, so maybe he turns into something.
Yeah.
Maybe Sam Darnold can revive his career, but I wouldn't bet on it, especially in that division, which might be the best in football right now. So, yeah, I wouldn't.
They're definitely the worst team.
Yeah. So, we go on to the NFC South.
NFC South.
Who do we have coming out of that division?
Gut feeling the Bucks. I know the Falcons are. They got Kirk Cousins regular season, really good, really good numbers. I don't know why Baker Mayfield. I'm not the highest on, but I like Baker Mayfield, and I like Mike Evans. I know they're getting older, but I don't think this is the year where they just go completely downhill. I think just gut feeling. I definitely think the Falcons have a more talent, better roster, but I just with the Bucks being together, and I just think
I'm very much lower on the Bucks than you are.
Yeah,
I don't like them as a team. I think they capitalized on a weak NFC last year, and I like Baker, I like Mike Evans, I like Chris Godwin, but that's a team that can be learned right now. Like they had their season of success. People are going to learn what they did last year, and they'll be able to capitalize on that. I don't think they're a threat to beat anybody. Lovie Smith isn't really an offensive coach, and they did nothing to improve on the defensive or offensive side of the ball.
Right.
I think Baker Mayfield, this will be very much a down year for him.
You think so?
He's a streaky guy in the first place. And with no running game as well, I don't believe they can like the Falcons. So I do have the Falcons coming out of that division with a very good record.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna.
I don't think the Falcons will be as good as their record, but they have 6 games within the division, and the Saints aren't going to be very good. I think the Saints are going to be horrible, actually.
Panthers, they'll get torn with Panthers.
I think the Panthers will be better.
Yeah, they'll be better,
but they'll be horrible. And the Bucks, I think, will also be pretty horrible this year.
What did the Panthers do with their O-line? Nothing.
Nothing, but they did give him some weapons. They have a nice core with Leggett. They have Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. So they could be a better offensive squad, but I don't think Bryce Young needed more receivers more than he needed a better line.
Yeah,
especially for a smaller quarterback.
I mean, you have all those weapons, but you
need time to throw it to him.
And they're saying Leggett is not the number. He's not in the top 3 for receivers.
Oh, really?
They're saying, what's his name from LSU?
This past year?
Yes.
Brian Thomas?
No.
Oh, he went to the Jags.
Give me 1 second. Mingo. They're saying Mingo.
Oh.
They're saying Mingo trained with Steve Smith this offseason. They're saying Mingo might be in the top 3.
He was drafted last year, right?
Yeah.
I think he went to Ole Miss.
He went to Ole Miss?
Yeah, I believe so. But, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about, what's the name? Marshall.
Oh, yeah. But the Falcons, I think, with Kyle Pitts, they signed Darnell Mooney. They still have Drake London, Kirk Cousins.
No, they have weapons. Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson is going to pop.
I think they still have Bijan, Tyler Algier, and Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
So that's the best.
And with the new kickoff rule, like Cordell Patterson might be.
That's exciting. Cordell Patterson might explode.
I like that new kickoff rule.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's something different, and it's more football. Like, I think they did a stat.
I think it brings back special teams guys.
Yeah, and most of the returns were returned. Like, we watched NFL games for like the past 5 years. It's felt like there hasn't been any returns. Like, they just knew it, which is smart. Yeah. But it is less football, and it's kind of meaningless.
I mean, I just love, like, I feel like growing up before when people were returning kicks, like, I just love stuff like the Kadarius Toney punt return in the Super Bowl, like stuff like that. Like, I think it just changes games, and I think we haven't seen as much of an impact on special teams,
absolutely not,
which I don't like.
Yeah, but once again, I do expect the Falcons to be. I expect their record to be better than they are because it's a Kirk Cousins-led team, and I don't really trust that. He's giving me no reason to trust that, even though he's.
I agree. Like, on paper, I love the Falcons. I don't know, weird gut feeling. I just think Baker Mayfield will get them there, but you might be right.
Yeah. So the Saints. We can talk about the Saints because that's the only team we haven't really talked about. There's nothing to talk about actually.
Yeah.
Kamara, still there. Derek Carr is done. I saw him play last year. Every single game he played was piss poor, and I thought he was going to be a good quarterback for that team. But
yeah, I did too. But I don't.
And obviously, they have a good defensive culture, and they still have Chris Olave. But I can't see a world where they get better than they did last year. No. So I won't be picking them to do anything this season. And then
they'll be a top draft.
Yeah. Lastly, in the NFC, I'm going to talk about the NFC West. Who do you have winning that division?
NFC West. 49ers, but the Rams can make some noise, I feel like. The Cardinals and Seahawks will be... I'm excited to see Kyler Murray back healthy with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
I think Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors, and Caleb Williams kind of in that Offensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
Or Offensive Rookie of the Year. But yeah, I definitely still have the 49ers. I think they need to get something for Ayuk. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that would be. A lot of people saying the Ravens could get Ayuk. A lot of people saying the Patriots. I don't know. But I'm interested to see what they do with Ayuk, if they pay him or he ends up somewhere else. But I definitely have the 49ers. I think that's...
I do have the 49ers. I kind of think this division is very weak. Yeah. But nonetheless, the 49ers are still just as talented of a team, but I think they will be playing a little bit more uninspired football this year.
It's Super Bowl or bust.
It's Super Bowl or bust every year for them at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think Brock Purdy is the greatest quarterback of all time, but Kyle Shanahan will put him in the right positions. But if they don't get a receiver, it's kind of like if they don't get a receiver back for Brandon Ayuk, I don't know. They don't really have a deep threat. Like, that was Brock Purdy's go-to deep threat this year, and if you take away Ayuk from that system, it makes him a little bit less well-rounded as an offense.
Yeah, and I just think the way Deebo Samuel plays, McCaffrey's 28, running backs after 30 historically aren't amazing.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is what, 38?
He's aging, Kittle is aging.
So, honestly, I don't know why, out of everyone, Ayuk might be the guy that you do pay.
Yeah.
If you think about it for a long term. You get what
I agree. And he's taking the least hits out of all those guys. And Ayuk is a great receiver. Wherever he goes, he's going to be great. Like, that's not just a system thing, in my opinion.
No.
So, I would try my best to re-sign him if you have the money.
Because
I would re-sign him over Brock Purdy.
But I don't know about that. But I definitely would.
I'm not going to. You could find another Brock Purdy.
Bro, Brock Purdy is perfect for the system. Like, he is. Because if it's so easy to say that, but if
the system that's lost for the past 35, they've lost longer than the Dallas Cowboys have.
Shanahan hasn't been there that long, though.
Right, but they haven't. Their system doesn't win Super Bowls. We've seen that consistent. A team, and this is not. I'm not saying it doesn't win Super Bowls. I'm saying these are teams that should have easily won.
They should have won Super Bowls, but it's not that easy to win a Super Bowl. Like, things didn't go their way.
If they had a quarterback, and you have that defense, and you have Deebo, George Kittle, and Ayuk, you don't have to be that motion offense system. If you had a quarterback to throw to them guys, that could be an absolute problem. I don't like.
But they didn't lose because of Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl this year. They did not lose because of Brock Purdy.
I mean, they didn't even get. He's not a reason for their success, though.
He played a good game in the Super Bowl, is what I'm saying. He is not the reason that they lost the Super Bowl.
So what's the reason they lost the Super Bowl?
It's not him. If you watch the game, you can't watch the game and be like, yeah, Brock Purdy needed. Like,
this is how I put it. Okay, if the Packers were a more experienced team, which they will be this year, the 49ers would have lost. If the Lions were a more experienced team, which they will be this year. Well, what are we talking about though? This year, this upcoming year.
I'm just saying though, Brock Purdy is not. I'm not the highest on Brock Purdy. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he has the most talent, whatever. But if it was that easy just to drop a quarterback in, then Trey Lance would have worked. Then,
Trey Lance hasn't found a home, so Trey Lance might have just not been the guy. But if it's that hard to find a quarterback for that organization, there's a problem because, like I said, the Packers will be better this year. The Eagles will be better this year. The Falcons will be better this year. The Lions will be better this year. The Bears. This isn't the NFC was at the worst state it has been of my entire life last season.
Nah, yeah, the NFC was not that good.
Of that. It looks cool because of all the weapons, but Brock Purdy is gonna diminish this year. He's not gonna be as good
because of Ayuk.
Because he's not that good. Because he's
why all of a sudden though?
Because because it's a better NFC. He didn't have to play anybody last year. If you really look throughout he had to play in the good teams he played. Philly had the worst pass defense in football last year. I watched it. I wanted to play. It got to a point where I wanted to go out there and play corner. They had to play. Look, Green Bay had them on the ropes. He looked terrible
against the Ravens.
Huh?
He looked terrible against the Ravens.
Purdy. The best defense they played. Look at how he looked. So I don't think Brock Purdy is that guy, and I'm gonna literally have to see him put a team on his shoulders to be that.
What I'm saying is, after watching that Super Bowl, even though he had all the weapons and you couldn't put a better roster around him, what I'm saying was, Brock Purdy, and I'm not gonna lie, he'll never win a Super Bowl. After that was his chance. I feel like this past year. But I'm saying he was good enough to win a Super Bowl. Is what I'm saying. He was good enough to play quarterback on a team win a Super Bowl.
And I don't necessarily disagree, but they didn't. And this year,
I actually rewatched that game last week coincidentally. And bro, like.
And if McCaffrey doesn't fumble, then
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. It's Brock Purdy played good enough to win them that Super Bowl.
And that's the best game he played the entire playoffs.
Yeah. So, which is good.
So props to him, but they're not going to be there this year. I can 100% promise you that.
I wouldn't promise it, but I wouldn't. I don't think so. I mean, the NFC is just better.
It's just better. I would probably take maybe 3 teams. I would more expect.
What 3 teams? Packers,
Lions, and Eagles. I would definitely expect to make it over the 49ers.
What did the Lions do that makes you think they're better than them?
They just maintained everybody with another year, with their first year of playoff experience. That's what I do look at like with the bright side. Like if they were to play San Fran again, they would want that. Like, they want that.
Yeah.
Detroit wants that. Detroit.
I wouldn't definitively say I would take the Lions over them. I definitely like the Packers simply just because I would take their quarterback, and I think in playoff quarterbacks matters. But I'm high on Jared Goff, but I don't think Jared Goff is that good where I'm just taking him over whoever's on the other side with all those weapons.
And Jordan Love played a horrible game against San Fran.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He'll definitely be better. And Jared Goff was good against the Niners. That was Josh Reynolds. Yeah. I'll forever blame that on Josh Reynolds. I won't blame that on Dan Campbell, but we can get over that. Like I agree with you though. I do have the Rams as a playoff team.
Matthew Stafford, and it's so sad. His career would have just been completely different if he was on anywhere other than the Lions.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely think we would be having, like, Matt Stafford or Aaron Rodgers conversations. Like, it's just a gut feeling that I just feel like Stafford is just that good. Mm-hmm. And he'll never be talked about like that. So, I mean, first year away, he won a Super Bowl. But
I think Puka and Cooper Kupp is still a dynamic duo. Kyron Anderson had a lot of rushing yards this year. And Sean McVay, once again, is coming back. He'll be a great coach. Defensively, they weren't as bad last year. Obviously, the loss of Aaron Donald is going to hurt. I mean, he's one of the best defensive players we've ever seen in football. So
arguably,
but like you said with the Cardinals, the only thing I'm looking forward to watching with them is what their offensive-minded coach came in. He was great. He was great last year, and obviously he was coming from Philly. I'm forgetting what his name was, but they played inspired football last year.
Yeah.
And that's what I do respect, and I think that will continue, and I think Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray will be fun to watch this year.
Yeah.
As far as Seattle, I think they will be horrible. And I think they are wasting a extremely great receiving core with a mediocre quarterback.
Yeah.
Geno Smith is a guy that takes sacks when he doesn't need to take sacks. I don't think he throws the prettiest football. I think there were games last year where they easily should have won. I think they should have been a better football. Like last year, I think you remember, I had them in the NFC Championship before the season started.
Yeah.
But I watched a lot of football, and Seattle isn't a team I believe in because of Geno Smith. And obviously Pete Carroll not there anymore. It's tough for me to believe that they can. And even with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's
an elite receiving core.
So they definitely need to look into another quarterback next year because I don't think Geno Smith will be great this year at all. Their offensive line
I think honestly,
didn't help last year.
That would be a team I would say look for Dak.
Yes, I can agree with that. Dak is not. Once again, I'm not the biggest fan of Dak.
But Dak with those three.
Like Dak is going to be able to he'll be able to. And I do want to see what Dak can do outside of Dallas.
Yeah.
Because the jury's not out on Dak. I don't think Dak is a bad quarterback.
No. He's not terrible. He's just not.
But the fact that he is in Dallas, I do think he's a bad quarterback. Like I don't think he plays inspired football in Dallas. I think it's hard to. I think Dallas's culture is the worst culture in team sports right now.
From the standpoint of,
I think their expectations
are
always too high.
Yeah.
I think they underdeliver. I think their fans expect to lose at this point, and I just don't think I don't think anybody's happy to be there. And I think honestly that will continue until.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like playing for the Lakers, and
absolutely
it's the expectations are so high. That's why Russell Westbrook struggled.
Except they don't have a LeBron, but it's the fact that Jerry Jones is still. Until Jerry Jones isn't a part of that organization, I expect them to always struggle.
Yeah.
For the rest of,
Yeah.
But we can move on to the AFC. Let's start with the AFC West.
AFC
Chiefs division.
Chiefs. Mahomes. They have Mahomes. They have Patrick Mahomes. There's really nothing else to talk about there. I do think the Chargers would be better. Simply just because of Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. Interested to see what Harbaugh does there. He's extremely good with quarterbacks. That's his thing. So I'm really excited to see what Herbert is this year, even with losing King now. And I'm really excited to see that and Mike Williams. Raiders.
I think the Raiders are a team that were heavily inspired last year because of their coach, and I think he is a good coach.
Yeah.
But they got extremely too comfortable with keeping Aiden O'Connell as quarterback.
Very.
and obviously I think they signed
And the
Gardner
Broncos
Minshew.
are interesting. They're definitely a year or two away, though.
I want to see what Gardner Minshew could do because obviously he led a team to the playoffs last year. So maybe that team could be good.
Yeah.
But I don't like teams that get complacent with bad quarterbacks when you don't have to. Yeah. And Gardner Minshew is obviously serviceable, but he's not going to be one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the AFC, which is the quarterback conference.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I do have the Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs no brainer.
Chiefs were supposed to be.
I mean, this might be this is the best all around team Mahomes has ever had from an all around standpoint. So this is a no brainer for me with the Chiefs.
And I do agree with the Chargers. The Chargers are a team that I think should be in the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes heavily.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson is not the answer. Yeah. I've seen him in training camp drop balls that I thought he was going to be a good receiver, but he's just not that right now. Yeah. And I know as a receiver, it's hard to build up that confidence once it keeps, So I don't think that team will be contenders at all. I do think they will overperform, though, which is crazy to say about the Chargers because it seems like the Chargers underperform every single year. Yeah. But I think Jim Harbaugh will bring in that winning culture, and obviously Justin Herbert is a baller.
I mean, yeah, Hall of Fame coach. I mean, that's amazing hire, I think.
And Denver is just Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're another year or two away with Sean Payton rebuild.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Bo Nix can do, but I don't think
is he even the for sure starter?
It could be Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
I'm also excited to see what he can do.
So it's like if Bo Nix starting good, but if Zach Wilson is starting, that says everything I need to know about Bo Nix.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can move on to and the Chargers are a fringe playoff team for me. I don't know quite, but the Raiders and Broncos aren't there yet. We go on to the AFC East. Who do you have coming out of that division?
Okay, so I actually have the Dolphins being the number one in that division again simply because even though they got out early in the playoffs, people do forget that is an elite offense. And I wasn't high on them going all in on Tua, but you kind of have to with the way you paid Tyreek. I mean, you look dumb. I feel like you look dumb if you don't go all in on Tua, if that makes sense. You put all this money into Tyreek Hill and Waddle, which is basically what makes your roster.
You better be right, though.
Yeah. You better be right, and there probably won't be. Yeah. But you look dumb if you don't go with Tua for at least right now. Yeah. So, that, like I said, that's an elite offense, speed, ran the ball well, extremely well, HN. I mean, and their schedule is not. I don't think it's and their schedule. I don't think their schedule is as hard as the Bills, and I think the Bills are. I still think the Bills are a better team though, and like in a playoff game, I'm taking Josh Allen over them. But just for regular season purposes, I think the Dolphins will be the number one seed.
I have the Bills winning that division.
You do?
Just for you saying that. But I think, like you said though, the
Dolphins and the Bills have a schedule. I mean, they play the Chiefs, the Niners, the Ravens, and the Texans.
The thing about it is that everyone in the AFC is going to have a stacked schedule. The AFC is just that good. Like, there's not really a lot of bad teams. It's the Broncos and the Patriots, and then after that, you're looking for bad teams, and you're really not there. So, like you said, the Dolphins, I think they're, like you said, they're going to be a good offense against bad teams. I do look for them to develop, at least Tua to develop a little bit. He got to get a little bit better. Because he still has the same weapons. And their defense was performing last year before they had the craziest injuries I've ever seen. I think the Dolphins actually would have been very much better, because they wouldn't have had to go to Arrowhead if they didn't have all those injuries. I'm 100% sure about that. So,
that's what I'm saying.
They did lose Vic Fangio. He went to us, obviously Philly, which I'm excited about. But I do think that defense can come back and be at least serviceable. I don't think they'll be bottom of the league. I think
and that offense is going to put up numbers. And they put up like 70 points in a game. Like
I have them being a wild card team for sure. Yeah. But when I was doing these schedule predictions, I had the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins as the same.
The Jets are interesting to me because
defense is so good.
The defense is so good, and then if Aaron Rodgers is just 80% of what he was when he was last healthy.
They got Tyron Smith holding down that left tackle spot. They got Garrett Wilson, who is just continuing to perform.
And I would not be surprised if Devontae Adams is there before the season's over. I don't know why.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I know
if that happens, then I might. I don't know.
I'm gonna look up.
The Jets can easily go from 1 to 3.
Yeah. I forgot who they picked up Allen Lazard, which isn't the craziest, But
if you get Lazard, Wilson, and Devontae Adams before the season's over, that's a big if. But I'm just saying.
And they got Breece Hall. Obviously, is a great
Breece Hall.
He's going to be drafted on most top fantasy boards.
Yeah.
But if Mike Williams, and I say this dead seriously, if Mike Williams can stay healthy for this Jet squad, they are going to be a problem. If Aaron Rodgers can be 80%, because
Aaron Rodgers is going to throw him accurate ball.
Oh my God! Dot. And and Mike Williams, every time he's healthy, he's at least a top 15 receiver that
when he's
healthy.
Talked
about. He's the best jump ball receiver.
Yeah.
At least the top 5 jump ball receiver of my life. He's gonna come down with it 100%. So if he can stay healthy, I do think the Jets will be a playoff team. But that's the thing; it's just about health.
Yeah, it's about health, and they're old. I mean, Tyron Smith, they're old.
Yeah, Tyron Smith is injury prone. Aaron Rodgers injury prone. Mike Williams injury prone.
Yeah.
Breece Hall got injured a year ago. They held out the whole year, so
out for the season. Yeah,
we're gonna have to see about that one.
And the Patriots, I heard they're talking about starting Joe Milton over Drake May. I don't know how true that is, but if anything's close to that, then they're not making the playoffs.
The Patriots are they're stagnant right now, and they will be. They hired a coach.
And their vets aren't good.
No.
They're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster might not make.
Their defense will remain great.
Yeah.
But that's not where the NFL is. Right?
That's not where the NFL is at all.
So they hire a coach that has the same mindset as Bill Belichick, and you don't have a Tom Brady, so you're not going to win games. It's as simple as that. That's not a team that's going to be great. I think Drake May is catching a little bit too much thunder right now. I still think he's going to be a good player.
I think he's going to be good. That's why I said I don't know how true this is.
Yeah.
I
mean, he probably is doing bad at training camp. I don't doubt it. I heard something interesting the other day. I forgot where it was from. At Myers Park, obviously, he had to wait a little bit. Yeah. At Chapel Hill, he had to wait for Sam Howell. So he's always waited, stayed down, and been patient, and been a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So whatever happens, I do believe that Drake May can be a good quarterback in this league. He has obviously the physical traits to do it. But let's move on to the AFC North.
Okay. I'm stuck between the Bengals and the Ravens. I'm really stuck. Ravens have a tricky schedule with all the teams I just named, with the Texans, the Bengals twice.
The North has the hardest schedule in football because 6 of them are against each other.
Yes.
And they're gonna like every time I predict these seasons, I predict that they're gonna split with every single opponent.
Yeah, the only team I don't think the Ravens will split with is maybe the Browns.
Maybe, but they split with them last year, I believe, right? I think Cleveland got one off of them.
I'm not sure, but I know.
Have to look into it.
I know the Steelers were gonna split.
Yeah, 100%. Y'all split with them every single year.
Yeah.
Even in the game, y'all shouldn't have last year though.
No, TJ Watt.
That was when y'all receivers. That was the game y'all receivers just was dropping.
Yeah, but I think we had the game won also.
Y'all did.
Yeah.
Lamar played good enough to win that game.
Yeah.
Y'all had that game won.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think with the addition of King Henry though, I still will take us a little bit over the Bengals, but it's going to be close because, I mean, last year would have been a dog. The year before that, when the Bengals won it, we were in the lead. We were above the Bengals, and then Lamar got hurt. People forget that.
Yeah.
So I still would take the Ravens, and maybe by a game.
I had them by a game.
Yeah, maybe by a game. I love the addition of Derrick Henry. That's going to be scary, especially with just the way we run the ball. I mean, that's our identity.
Yeah.
Other than the Niners, I don't know anybody who really runs the ball better than us in the past 5 years. Just from run design and everything.
I do want to see a 2 tight end set with y'all.
Yeah.
Because I wanted y'all to make a move. I wanted y'all to move Mark Andrews. See what y'all can do. But it's not bad to keep him, obviously. He's still a great football player. But you still have Isaiah Likely.
Isaiah Likely showed up whenever
absolutely. So
Mark Andrews
and Zay Flowers will get better. I do think y'all are still going to be a great football team, but it's kind of like the Niners a little bit, except I like y'all better than, and obviously I like Lamar Jackson better than Brock Purdy. So that's where the difference lies.
And Lamar Jackson thinned up a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be moving his first MVP.
Bro, I think he might. Never mind. I was about to say something crazy. I think he just needs to play football though. That's where I'm going with that. Yeah. He just needs to play football. Play backyard football, Lamar. Yeah. That's what it is. You just got to get out your head, and you're going to be fine. Yeah. I did have the Bengals second. I think Joe Burrow is just simply that good. You had the Steelers third. I had the Browns third. Obviously, right now, the Browns are in the Brandon Ayuk sweepstakes. I think they already put together a trade.
But the thing about the Browns getting Brandon Ayuk, they're talking about giving up Amari Cooper.
Oh, I mean,
and I like that.
That would obviously change things.
I like that for the Niners.
I do too, but I don't know if I like Amari Cooper better than Brandon Ayuk though.
No, but you would get picks as well.
Would you?
Yeah, they said
maybe. Well, yeah, maybe a couple, but it wouldn't be a first or anything. So I don't know. I don't think Brandon Ayuk. I think
you'd be getting Amari Cooper and picks.
I mean, their defense, obviously Myles Garrett holding it down. Their defense is going to be good regardless. And I don't know about Deshaun Watson. Obviously, I've been hoping for him for the last.
Yeah, sitting out a whole year is hard. Like especially for I don't know. So, he might not ever be the same.
Yeah, so we'll see what we got from him. But that's an offense it's a coach really who has just consistently held down this team and made sure they were successful. So that's what I expect to happen again. And just like the Steelers,
I was about to say Mike Tomlin, and then you can get creative with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm not high on Russell Wilson at this point in his career. A lot of people think he can, but I do think if a coach can get him to be, it would be Mike Tomlin.
The problem with the Steelers is outside. George Pickens is the only guy.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what George Pickens could be with Russell Wilson.
But they are the worst receiving core in football.
Yeah,
in my opinion, like it's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh no, wait, the Patriots.
Yeah,
and then the Steelers.
Did the Steelers draft anybody at wide receiver?
I'm not. I don't believe so.
Okay, because that's one thing the Steelers are known for, though. They can draft wide receivers.
They can.
So if they drafted a guy in the 4th round that we don't know about, he might end up being good.
Yeah.
Like that's the Steelers just don't miss at
and I do think George Pickens is the guy that can be a number one because I think he's been one or two.
Yeah, his talent,
but he's talented. Yeah. The catches he makes are bar none. So.
He might be the coldest receiver.
Yeah,
like we're not the best, but like we're just talking like the coldest receiver.
But his highlight tape at the end of his career might be up there. Up there. Like he already in his first couple of years is just the catch against the Browns where he did like this and caught it with one hand.
That catch I saw when he was at Georgia in practice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
there's things he can do that I can't even
he's a Hall of Fame talent.
Yeah, I just look at it. I'm like, how do you even do that? Like it's crazy.
No, yeah.
But last division, AFC South. What do you think about that division?
AFC South. I got the Texans, and then I have the Colts coming second. But
okay, me too.
Yeah, I'm high on Anthony Richardson. Once again, with that play style, I don't know if he'll stay healthy. I hope he does. But yeah, I got the Colts second, but the Texans, like you said, that might be one of the best wide receiving cores in NFL history. You have deep threat and Tank Dell. Then you have Stephon Diggs, arguably the best route runner in the NFL. Him and Devontae Adams or CeeDee Lamb, and then you got Nico Collins, who probably will be the number one just because he's been there.
Yeah, and DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, and then
hold down the defense.
DeMeco Ryans will hold down the defense. C.J. Stroud, best rookie in NFL history. If we're talking about from a quarterback perspective, to come in right away and just like I've never really seen that. And then you get Joe Mixon. Offensively, I don't see any holes there. If there was a team to beat the Chiefs, it would be them.
Yeah, I agree. You covered that all with the Texans, so I'm leaving it there. I have them first as well. Yeah. With the Colts, I like the culture they're building. I like Shane Steichen. Obviously, they still have Quentin Nelson up front, so their offensive line
Jonathan Taylor
as bad. Jonathan Taylor, hopefully he comes back. He didn't look bad in some of the action he had last year, and so I do think they'll be a good team. Obviously, they have Michael Pittman. They got Josh Downs last year.
They still have Hines.
I don't know about. I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen him in a while, so probably not. But yeah, I do like this Colts team, and I think defensively they got better, so I expect them to be better. And the Jags I actually had third. Not high on them.
And that was your Super Bowl pick last year.
Yeah.
To win it.
I had
to who?
To the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
But man, it's hard because it's like their receiving core is consistently good, like just good.
Yeah.
The defense, I don't know. I think they were bottom in the league last year. I just can't see a world where they got better. They obviously signed Brian Thomas. I think that he's the key if they're going to be contenders. If Brian Thomas becomes a number one, from LSU, he can be an absolute problem.
Yeah.
But he has to be that guy for them to be great.
Ridley can't be.
Ridley went to Tennessee, I believe.
Ridley went to Tennessee?
Yeah. And
Tennessee, then they're
and Tennessee is interesting. They got Gabe Davis though, the Jags.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, but Tennessee,
I mean, Tennessee, I think out of all the teams who come last in their division, they'll be the best out of those.
Yeah, that's a good take.
I like their coach, but I love their coach actually. Yeah. But it's just he's also one of the defensive coaches.
They don't have Vrabel anymore though.
Wait, what?
Who did they pick up? Let's see, a little bit of research right here. Brian Callahan.
They're last. Never mind.
Yeah, so they are last for me. But once again, like you said, I do look forward to watching this team play football this year. They got, I forgot what their running back's name was, but they got him last year. He was good. Obviously, they still have D-Hop and Calvin Ridley. And then they have...
that might make me higher on the Browns.
What's number
8?
Oh,
Will
Will
Levis.
Levis.
Coaching staff? But yeah, Will Levis, yeah.
Will Levis is... I liked what I saw his first year, so it'll be an interesting squad, but definitely not contenders, definitely not even playoff contenders in the stacked AFC. So let's move on to speed questions with Gav.
Let's do it.
In the video.
All right, so who's your hot tech team to not make the playoffs?
Dallas.
I was about to say the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
I think only one team from y'all's division makes it.
Yeah.
And this goes into my next question. Which division are you most confident in having 3 teams make the playoffs?
The NFC North, with the Bears, Lions, and the Packers.
Same answer for me. Yeah.
Now, the AFC North could definitely make that happen.
Yeah.
With either the Browns or the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, and the AFC East is definitely an option with the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. I could definitely.
Honestly, that just depends on the Jets' health. If the Jets are healthy, I'm most confident in that division. Honestly. Simply because I would still. You still?
I just think the South after the Falcons for me is just so horrible. Same thing with the East after Philly, and then.
But I could see a world.
And you like the Bucks, so maybe you consider the Bucks, but.
Yeah, I mean, I could. Dang. I could see a world where. You know, like, we haven't seen Caleb Williams play. Like, I could just see a world where the Bears just don't make the playoffs. Like, obviously, I don't think that'll happen. But
That's a damn receiving room, bro, if I've ever seen one. Bro.
Yeah, like, no, it'll be hard for them to not make playoffs, but, because if they win one more game, I think they would be, like, above 500 or 500. Like, just one more game.
Yeah, I think they might have been,
I think they would have been.
They were 7-10. I think if they won 2 more, they would have been above. Or they might have been 8-9.
I was about to say, I think they're 8-9.
But yeah,
they were 8-9.
That's a damn squad. I can't see a world where they don't get better. So.
Yeah, they were 8-9 last year.
And then
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, probably that division. And lastly, which team do you think will have the number 1 draft pick next year?
That is very interesting. First off, there are some bad teams in the NFC, but I'm gonna go to the AFC because I think the competition will be harder. I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots, and the reason why is because I could have said Denver, but I think Denver will get some games within the division, and New England is not gonna win any games in the division. I don't believe so.
Yeah.
So
if the Panthers are already getting hurt,
maybe the Saints as well.
I was saying the Saints.
So
I'd say the Saints. I'm not high on the Saints. But Derek Carr, I'm not a fan, but he might win them 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, Derek Carr.
I would probably say the Patriots, just because. I mean, if you don't have Drake May starting, and you have like I don't know. Even if you do have Drake May starting, I don't know.
Joe Milton.
Yeah, Joe Milton.
It doesn't really move me.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.